Today in our tutorial is the most recognized mushroom in the world, fly agaric. An outline drawing is done, taking out the excess amount of graphite with an elastic eraser by rolling over your drawing. Taking masking fluid and an old brush, covering all the spots on the cap of this mushroom, those white yellowish spots which will be at the end, they now are covered with masking fluid. While we wait the masking fluid to get really dry, completely dry, we can mix the colors. Adding water to palette, Indian yellow, and Alizarin Crimson for darker parts of this mushroom cap. For the second mix, Indian yellow, and Sennelier Red for the more yellowish orangey mixture of this mushroom cap. Adding Perylene Maroon to the darker mix to make it more darker. Now I can compare to the one standing one to each other. I can tell which I need a little bit darker or a lighter or a yellowish or a violetish. Taking now water for the third mix, again taking Indian yellow, and it will be for the yellowish washes. Fourth is Cobalt Violet with a little touch of Sennelier Red for the cooler tone. Now need to check all color mixes on a piece of paper. Adding a little bit more of Perylene Maroon to get a more intense and darker tone for a darker mix. And for the main color, I feel that I need a little bit more of Indian yellow to make it more orangey, warm orangey color. Now for the mushroom stem, I need different types of gray and brownish gray tones. Taking Ultramarine Blue, little touch of transparent yellow, a little bit more of Ultramarine Blue, and a little touch of Sennelier Red. Mixing and looking what is coming out from this mix, adding a little bit more of Sennelier Red, a little bit more of transparent yellow. Here I'm adding a little touch of these three pigments, Ultramarine Blue, Sennelier Red, and transparent yellow to get a warmish, brownish, grayish tone for the, if you can see to the reference photo, more darker tone of this stem, which is in the shadow second mix for the stem, adding water, ultramarine blue. As you can see, it's watery, quite watery, adding again a little touch of transparent yellow and a little touch of Sennelier Red. Different proportions, you can experiment while you get the right pigment, the right tone that you need. I am getting here a lighter grayish brownish color than the first one. First one is more yellowish, grayish brownish color for the more warmer shadow area. This is a like mid-tone of this stem. And the third mix, adding water, ultramarine blue, transparent yellow, and again Sennelier Red to get a different, with different proportions, different gray color. A little bit ultramarine blue, again experimenting, mixing. This is all watery, more water and lesser amount of pigment, and testing on a piece of paper while you see that you have 3 different tones. This is a cooler. The first mix is really warm, yellowish, brownish, grayish tone. Second is mid-tone, and this one is more cooler. We have all the colors. We can start painting. Masking fluid is dry, applying water to all the cap, all the surface of the cap. And starting with the darker mix of Indian Yellow and Alizarin Crimson with Perylene Maroon, and from the shadow area slowly applying watercolor. The surface is wet, so the watercolor flows nicely on the surface, and with the round simple synthetic brush I spread my darker mix all around the cap and between masking fluid dots. In the middle part, I'm taking the second mix of Indian Yellow, Sennelier Red, and applying, covering all the area. Remember to leave the lightest area, which you can see on your reference photo, light. Better not go over it, or very watery watercolor layer. You can go over the light area. Carefully with the edges, and spread your watercolors evenly. With the clean and dry brush, I'm wiping out watercolors which are flowing to the light area, and adding a little bit more of a darker tone. While the surface is wet, I can add more watercolors, more saturation. Upper part of this cap needs a little bit more of this orangey mix. Applying a little bit more, and now I need to leave it to rest, to dry completely. Well, now it is dry, I can add more watercolors. Remember to leave the paper to rest, to absorb watercolors, and then it will be ready to receive more watercolors, more watery layers. And you will not damage paper if you will leave it to rest between watery layers. Adding more the same of two mixtures, Indian yellow with Alizarin Crimson and Perylene Maroon for the darker area, and Indian yellow with Sennelier Red for the mid-tones and closer to the lightest area. Now the finishing touches. I really enjoyed painting this mushroom. This mushroom was on my wish list for a very long time, and now I've painted it and made it in a tutorial, and I'm really happy with the result. Hope you will too, and you learned something new from this tutorial and would like to see your results. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining. See you in my next tutorials. Bye bye.